in less than 3 days, the government of Puerto Rico will default. It isn't a hypothetical, it isn't a simulated crisis, it's all too real. If Republicans refuse to act in the next 3 days, we'll be forging blindly into uncharted territory. We may have disagreements on the solution, but everyone understands that the facts are beyond dispute. What's also beyond dispute is the absolute need for territory-wide restructuring. For the better part of the last year, the government has been compelled to take drastic and unprecedented actions. They have closed schools and hospitals, laid off police officers, firefighters, raised taxes on business and families, but all the spending cuts and tax hikes in the world won't make a dent in the crisis unless Puerto Rico has the ability to restructure its debts. That's because just servicing the government's $72 billion debt is swallowing a massive 36% of the island's revenue, 6 times the mainland average, which is simply unsustainable. In fact, despite all we hear about Puerto Rico's significant annual budget deficits, the island would actually be running a surplus if it didn't have to make debt payments. That's right, a surplus. These debt service payments act like an albatross and handcuff the people of Puerto Rico, preventing them from investing in their economy. Less resources for education, infrastructure, for economic development creates a death spiral as talented workers opt to leave the island, businesses are shuttered, and revenue drops even further. The governor of Puerto Rico warned us 10 months ago that the current debt was simply unpayable. Republicans have had all the time to study the issue, to consult with experts, to enact a workable solution. We've gone to the floor on several occasions to urge action, but here we are staring into the abyss. Less than 72 hours before default, waiting for the Republican Party to decide what they stand for and who they're fighting for, hedge funds or American citizens. Not too long ago, we had a commemoration, a ceremony of a gold medal for the Borinquineros, the individuals served in the armed forces of the United States during several wars, including Korea, among the most decorated military unit in the history of the United States, and all Puerto Rican division. And the Congress gave them the Congressional Gold Medal. The service to that country, to their country, to the United States, and the 3.5 million American citizens who happen to call Puerto Rico their home deserve more than a gold medal. It deserves to be treated like any other American citizen. Whether the Republican leadership bows to the demands of the extreme within their party, cower in the face of anonymous attacks ads, or stand up and put the people of Puerto Rico and the 3.5 million American citizens above politics is the question right now. In 3 days, we'll know the answer. Now, 3 million people have watched my good friend Lin-Manuel Miranda, better known to most as Alexander Hamilton, on YouTube, who used his unique voice and words to send a simple message to the Republican leadership about the 3.5 million Americans living on the island. He said, "Your citizens are suffering. Stop the bleeding. Stop the loss. Help Puerto Rico. It's just 100 miles across." And I'd offer the following additional line today. If Republicans leave without a fix, San Juan will be ablaze, while our lawmakers in Washington go their separate ways. This is a moment to stand up for the people of Puerto Rico, the 3.5 million American citizens who have honored this country, served it, and you can see their names in greater proportion along the Vietnam Wall for those who served on behalf of the country in that conflict as well. It's time to do the right thing. Enough is enough. Ya basta. Es el momento de que Puerto Rico merece la atención y la acción del Congreso de los Estados Unidos, y los republicanos que están en control tienen la responsabilidad de hacer eso, no de permitir que el Estado de Puerto Rico vaya no tener los recursos necesarios para mantener los servicios esenciales para su pueblo. Y esta responsabilidad, nosotros como demócratas estamos listos de proceder en este momento. We're ready as Democrats to move forward. We've offered legislation to do so. We stand ready to negotiate and to meet that challenge.